right, good morning, folks. Thanks for joining me this Wednesday. Before we begin, make sure you have your set of dumbbells. With that, let's get started with some lunges. Just hands on hips, alternating step backs here. Just stay nice and upright here. Bend that back knee. Try to bend that back knee a little more than maybe what you're comfortable with, just to continue to stretch through those quadricep muscles on the back leg. Stay nice and upright here. Let's go ahead and bring our arms up now. Keep them nice and straight as well as you continue to bend the back knee. Keep that head nice and tall. Try not to look down. A lot of people have a habit when they squat, when they lunge, to look down. That's going to cause you to fall forward, or it might cause you to fall forward. But try to just look straight up, right ahead. Keep that upper back in a more neutral position here. We're going to cross our arms into the lead leg after this one here. Let's go ahead and do that now. So into the lead leg. Keep the arms nice and straight. Try to keep the shoulders forward too. We're not doing too much transverse rotation. You're still trying to stay forward here. It's just the arms that are rotating. Then we get a little more stretch to the back of the front arm. Let's do one more. And then how about some butt kicks here? Let's get that heart rate up just a little bit. Nice and light on the feet. Soft landing. How about some heel taps? A little more stretch of the hamstring this way, actually. And then high knees. Drive those knees up, way up. Let's get the hip flexors going. Quadricep muscles will start to burn a little. That's good. And then how about a sumo squat with an overhead reach? Try to stay nice and upright, just like we were with the lunges here. Now, again, I said sumo squat, so your feet are pretty wide, with your knees pushing out and your toes turning out as well. If you were to look down, you would see that your knees and toes are in the same plane, or they're lining up in the same direction, probably 45 degrees outward from straight ahead. Let's do one more here. And then right back to butt kicks. We'll keep it random here through the warm-up. And now some curtsy lunges. Let's throw those hands on the hips here. Just try to stay nice and upright. Twist into that lead hip. So you are rotating here. And try to stay nice and upright so we don't want to fall. And you're going to get a little more stretch through the back of the hip, the tailbone muscles that attach to the back of that femur. You got several of them. They really get a nice stretch here the more square the hips are and the more upright you are as well. There's something to think about, but regardless, you're still trying to squeeze the glute of the front leg here. So squeeze that glute. Now we're going to do some side steps. Do one more here. Just a side lunge. And then the other side. Back and forth. My carpet is going crazy, so don't mind me if I've fallen all over the place. You just keep doing your side steps. Hopefully I don't fall. Let's do one more in each direction. One more in each direction. Here, one more here. And then once again, right back to butt kicks. Nice and light on those feet. We're going to get into it after this. Keep that heart rate up just a little bit. We're good for you. Okay, on our back, you do not need your dumbbells for this first series, but we're going to be in a supine position. You're going to hold your arms in a shoulder flexed position. So holding our arms the entire time. They're not resting. They're holding right off the floor, just like so. And I'm going through dual knee extension. So simply this, begin. So if you haven't already joined, obviously start. Focus is to keep the arms super straight here. So as you're holding your arms just off the floor, I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades back and down as if you're going to try to pinch them together, and then try to straighten the elbows and hold those straight arms right along the sides of your face. So your biceps should almost touch your ears on this as you're holding those straight arms. Working down the chain here, pull your abs in. And now working through the lower portion of the body, we're trying to release the back of the legs here while strengthening through quadricep muscles. You're actually probably going to get more of a strength effect even than me, because likely you're more tight through the back of your legs. So you have to apply more resistance, which just means you're going to have to apply more force on these front muscles strengthening. So if you aren't exceptionally tight when we do these movements, there is a silver lining. You will get a greater strength effect due to the tension you have to overcome to simply extend the knees. So I guess you got that going for you if you feel tight. So another way to look at the exercise is a good opportunity to strengthen the quadricep muscles and the inner thighs. Let's do one more here. Then we're gonna do something very similar, but on our feet. It's called an overhead squat. You've done it before with me. So mechanically, we're trying to do the same thing here. Your arms are up the entire time, nice and straight, arms almost the size of the ears. I want your feet no wider than shoulder width and sit into a squat. Now, the idea here is your mechanics are quite literally the same as they were when you were on the floor. You were simply doing knee extension. Now, our hips are moving a little and our knees are moving a little, but everything up the chain from those hips is exactly as it was on the floor. So hold those arms nice and high. Try not to let them fall forward. Try not to let the head come forward. You want that spine in a perfectly flat position, just as it was with you having the benefit of the floor underneath you. But now you don't obviously have that, so you have to use your own strength of the spine to hold those arms up as you sit back into the squat. This is tough. You just got 5 seconds here. Let's do, that's good. And then hands right at the sides. I just want to hinge at the hips. So I really want to emphasize the posterior chain here. So as we hinge, you are driving your butt back all your way into your heels here. So let's really get those hamstrings stretched. Now, if for whatever reason your hamstrings do not like you or do not like this exercise, don't pile drive your hips all the way back. But if you have tolerance, if the backside of your body is willing to release, I really want you to push your hips back here. Squeeze your inner thighs together as you push your hips back. Make sure your feet aren't rolling out, supinating as you push your hips back, but focus on the inner thigh squeeze and the forward tilting of your pelvis as you push back. And then squeeze those glutes to come forward here. I just have 15 seconds on this one. Make sure you're really drawing the abs in. But normally I don't emphasize the hinge with so much extension back or backwards, simply because most people have lots and lots of tension through the hamstrings. So you just have to be mindful of how much resistance you are feeling. Don't take it to pain, please. But why I want to push the hips so far back here is because as we go through a second round, you will get a little better stretch. So hopefully when you get back to doing those overhead squats, let's do one more here, we get a little more range of motion because we're really focusing on that range of motion with that hinging we just did. So on your back, just like me, let's do a little bear hug. I'm going to go full grip here. So I'm going to grab elbow to elbow. If you need to do hands on the knees, that's fine. But I'm working out here too. So I want to take advantage of the stretch opportunity as well. It does feel real nice. So find, again, whatever range of motion you are at. The goal is to get your spine perfectly flat with that floor. I know that's might be a ways out from where you are today. It doesn't matter. Just continue to compress because that will actually release the front of that spine, the anterior of that spine, doing a bear correctly. So try to tilt your hips right now as you pull your knees into your shoulders and then squeeze your shoulder blades back. Now you can see as I squeeze my shoulder blades back, my chin actually tilted up, and that's normal. So let's stretch the cervical spine by tucking that chin. Give yourself a double chin. That's fine. No one's looking. And squeeze the shoulders back. Squeeze the knees in. Squeeze the knees together. Pull the abs in. It's okay. You can make it intense. That's fine. And then release it. All right. Switching right back to the first exercise. Hold your arms nice and straight. Make sure your feet stay flexed the entire time. And then just knee extensions. So like I was kind of saying when we were on our feet here, and this is kind of technical stuff. Maybe it's kind of hard to visualize this, but if you see how your back, or you can feel how your back from your hips to your hands right now, it's got a nice and flat, essentially a straight line. I want you to tune into what the sensation of your back to your shoulders to your head and neck is, because we're going to try to emulate that once we get on our feet. No, it's not going to look as good as this. It's not going to feel as good as this. But we're trying to just get as close to this as possible. So just continue to hold your arms, pull your abs in, make sure those elbows are nice and straight, and really focus on straightening those knees. And if you get the knees fully straight, make sure you are keeping the ankles together right now. We're gonna do one more here. And then let's hop to our feet. Let's do those overhead squats. Just do your best with this. Now I'm going to show you side profile here. Again, arms nice and straight. Again, ideally, straight line from the hips all the way to the hands. Not letting the arms come forward. Not letting the back arch or head come forward. Again, you might only be like this low, and that's okay. Again, if you're great to this depth and then anything lower starts to look like this, you've gone too far. I want you to be able to maintain that eccentric length through the anterior of your spine. Lots of words. What that means is I don't want to see you do this. Okay, I can't see you, so you need to tune into your own mechanics. You need to tune into what is happening with your spine. Likewise, what is happening with your spine? Stay extended, stay open, stay lengthened, stay light. Let's continue to squat here. Squeeze your shoulders back and down. Straighten your elbows. Pull your abs in. Just keep moving here. This is not fast, but we're not holding either. Try not to arch your low back. Keep pulling your arms back. We got just 10 seconds, and then we're going to hinge on those hips. Hopefully this time you actually feel like you can get a little lower as a byproduct of doing that hinging exercise, which we're going to do right now. So go ahead, lower those arms right at the sides. Again, hinge with the real exaggeration of pushing the hips back. But you're really pulling the abs in too. I mean, really, really draw the abs in. And again, we're tilting the pelvis forward. I'm going to exaggerate this. That's more tilt than you need. Okay, it would be something more like this. But that is the idea. We're tilting. As you tilt, you release. And that's what we're trying to do. Just draw the abs in. So we maintain neutral position here. We're not arching excessively. Just have a flat back as your hips are pulled back. Almost as if like you had a rope around your waist and someone were to just like pull back, like tug, like drawing your hips back. But as you do that, just make sure the legs are not externally rotated. 20 seconds here. Let's just continue to go. I'm going to show you from the front. Really just driving those hips way back with a neutral spine, not letting the legs externally rotate. That's really important on this because we want to strengthen the inner thigh just as much as we want to stretch the back of the leg. And that's key on this. You want to strengthen here just as much as we want to release right there. Let's go ahead, hop down on our backs here. Give yourself a bear hug. Whichever variation, that's fine. If you were doing elbow to elbow, why not switch hands? If you don't remember, that's fine. Just know the next time we do a bear and we do pairs of exercises generally, maybe try to remember which elbow is over the top. Not that it's the end of the world on that, but just for the sake of balance. Pull the abs in. Squeeze the knees together a little bit, and then draw your shoulders back a little more. And again, if you are here, it's fine. Totally fine. And again, I can compress my knees in really pretty far while still keeping that back nice and flat, nice and flush to the floor. So if you start to feel you rounding up like this as you pull the knees in, you're pulling the knees in too far. You need to start from the spine. And when it comes to stretching in this, you need to make sure that you are as flat as possible before you start pulling, tugging, torquing on those joints. So flat spine, and then begin to start applying those cues that I constantly tell you. All right, come out of that. We're going to be on our feet. Grab your dumbbells here. Dumbbells are going to be at the sides. We're just doing a left static lunge. So this is going to be a little muscle endurance here. Let's get that burn going. Bend the back knee and begin. We got a full minute here. So just up and down. I want you to maximize your range of motion. Sometimes we're partial range of motion, but right now we are full range of motion. So as you're going through the lunge, you can lightly present your knee to the floor. Don't bang it. If that bugs you to get all the way to the floor, don't do that. Likewise, if you're going to the floor and you're falling forward or you are losing form, don't bring your knee to the floor, or don't bring your knee to the floor. Stay upright. But again, the goal is to maximize your range of motion without deviating on that proper form. I guess the grander point of that is always focus on form first, perfect your form, and then as you get more comfortable with how your body moves, and perhaps start flirting with increased ranges of motion. Another way to think about an exercise. We got 20 seconds here. I know it feels like a long minute. Keep bending the back knee. I do want a full honest minute. Let me get that little burn. Squeeze the front glute of that front leg. Every time you lift up, I want you to feel that left glute contract. Last one here. Left glute contract. Other side, same thing. You have your dumbbells in hands. I know I'm not holding on to any right now, but you are. 3s or 5s. I know it doesn't seem like much, but honestly, they do make a difference, especially when you have like long timeline exercises. You know, we're doing things like on a minute and then multiple minutes in a row. 3-5 pounds, I mean, huge difference. So if you're holding on to 3s or 5s, good job. Keep holding on to those. I give you credit. I give you credit where I can't give myself credit. Bend the back knee, push through the heel of the front foot, squeeze that glute, bend the back knee to get that stretch, that quadricep muscle. I want it to burn, so do you. You want it to burn 10 seconds. Just work through it. You're fine. Work through it. Bend the back knee a little more here. Let's do 2 more lunges. Last one. You got it. Now just keep your dumbbells in your hands. We're going to be on the left leg. Bring your right knee up. Bring your left arm up. So opposite arm, opposite leg up. We're just holding a little balance here, the little series. Now try to keep your hips as square as possible. Try to keep this knee the same plane as this hip. Now the trick here, because hips, knees, don't mind my arms, they get all cattywampus. And oftentimes what happens is the floating leg, in this instance, your right leg, your floating leg, the hip comes up as you try to bring the knee up. I need you to keep the hip down. Push the hip down, and then pull the knee up. Why? Because it's going to fire your psoas and your hip flexor, and it's hard. And that's what we're trying to strike it here right now. So push your hip down. Pull your knee up. Hold it a little higher. Push your hip down. Now make sure the standing knee is straight. Yeah, pull up on that left kneecap right now. Let's go and switch sides. So same thing. Your right arm is up, by the way. And then pull the abs in. Now make sure that right leg is nice and straight. Lamp post, straight line. Imagine not even having a knee joint. Just a line of tension you feel from the heel all the way up to the glute. Those hamstring muscles, calf muscles, everything just nice and taut. Now straighten your right arm for me and pull it back just a little. Pull the abs in. Push your left hip down. Pull your left knee up. As you hold this position, I want you to push your right knee back. This is really hard isometric to balance. It's just really, really, really hard. So just do your best. If you feel like you're wobbly all over the place, that's fine. Well, we are trying to cause or create a lot of tension. Paradoxically, you're actually trying to relax into these balance positions. So you have to have tension to hold, but at the same time, you need to be light so you can just manage holding these length relationships of your body. So trying to build strength, but at the same time, in some way, be light, be relaxed. Good, come out of that. Let's do those static lunges again. Left side forward, just hands right at the sides. And let's keep moving. Just nice up and down. Pull the abs in. Neutral hips. Push through the heel of that front foot. Feel the length, feel the stretch happening through that back leg. Make sure the head's not falling forward and your eyes are looking up and your head is up. Like I was saying earlier, if you're doing this, you're more likely to do this. Not that that's going to end the world or end your workout, but we're disengaging a little of the upper back muscles that way. So stay up, stay open. Got 20 seconds here. And then I'll simply switch to the other side. Got a good start here. We're working pretty hard, actually. I'm getting a good sweat, so hopefully you are too. You got 10 seconds. Nice and tall. Squeeze your left glute as you come up. We're going to do one more lunge after this one. You got it. And our right foot forward here. Feet forward in their lanes. Bend the back knee. Full on a Smith. So again, as you're sinking down, you get to a point, and maybe you, maybe not, you'll notice your hips want to tilt forward to continue to lower the knee towards the floor. Don't do that. Don't let your hips tilt forward, okay? And again, if you're ever in doubt, you can always shallow range of motion. It's fine. Totally fine. You're still going to get an effect from the exercise, whether your range looks like this or looks like this, okay? Neutral back. Make sure your back's not arching. Stay upright. Bend that back knee. Make sure your toes are forward in their lanes too. I hammer on that a lot with people, but how you make contact with the floor will affect how your muscles engage entirely up the chain. Not just to your hips, but actually literally up the entire connect chain. So feet forward. And make sure your pressure on the feet are kind of equally distributed through the front foot, but pushing primarily through the heel. Push down your big toe, but through the heel of that back foot. By the way, you got one more. That's good. Stand tall on the left side. Bring your right knee up. Left arm up. Now hold. That's it. So super straight left knee right now. I do want you to feel tension in the back of the leg, but also the inner thigh, particularly upper inner thigh. And actually, as you hold this position, you technically should feel tension through both inner thighs as if they're kind of like trying to squeeze together. Now, I don't want you to collapse the knees in, but you want to have tension, equal tension in the inner thigh as you hold straight leg and leg up. Pull the abs in, lift the right knee a little higher, and then push your right hip down just a little more. You got 25 seconds. Now working up the arm here. Make sure the arm's staying nice and straight. So everyone, pull your arm back just a little bit because it's probably falling forward. So as you pull that arm back, I want you to draw your shoulder down. You can see that, draws down. And hold right there. Straight arm, straight wrist. Now everyone, once again, lift your right knee, push your right hip down. And then with 5 seconds, I want you to straighten your left knee, hold, switch sides. Nice job. Same thing on the other side, same cues. Now bring your right arm up. All right, weight back on your heel of your right foot, but you are pushing down hard on that right toe. Push down real hard. I want you to feel the arch in that foot. Now working up the chain here, make sure that right knee is nice and straight. So pull up on the kneecap, tight quadricep muscle, squeeze the inner thighs. Lift the left knee, push down on the left hip. When you squeeze your inner thighs together, when you engage your inner thighs, they will help to keep the hip more neutral. That's actually where that cue primarily comes from. It's the point of it. The inner thighs is to help keep this hip down. Keep this hip down as you pull the left knee up. Now draw the arm back. Straighten your arm a little more. You got 20 seconds here. I hope that right knee is still pretty straight for you. Make sure your hips are even. All right, let's lift that left knee up again a little bit because it's falling. Draw your abs in. Pull your arm back, and I want you to straighten your wrist because it's probably bent a lot. Straighten it, and then draw your arm back a little more. You got 5 seconds here. Just hang out, and go ahead and let that go. Let's do a V-sit. So on our butt here, you can do a V-sit with your feet floating, or you can do a V-sit with your feet down. I'm going to do it with my feet down. And we're going to do a little transverse rotation. So when you do your V-sit here, it's critically important. The reason why I'm actually doing this with my feet down is I actually want to give my low back a little more stability on this because I want to maintain the stretched lumbar position, the lengthened lumbar position, and then I roll into a little transverse rotation, engaging the obliques and all of these lateral transverse muscles that help with this rotation of the spine. So as you're going here, again, by the way, no dumbbells, make sure your back is not collapsing, right, as you go through your rotation. This isn't so great for your discs. You want to maintain that decompressed, lengthened position as you go into transverse rotation. And by the way, just intuitively, as you watch me do this, I'm sure you see this looks good, like probably how it's supposed to look as an exercise. And intuitively, you know, this doesn't look so hot. And that's my point. So again, all looks right. Stay extended as you go through transverse rotation here. We're going to transition this to a seated forward fold. So again, sitting forward, you still want to maintain that extended spine. So it's the same spine that I was just cueing, but now we're trying to release the lower part of the legs, the back of the legs, back of the hips. So if you can grab your feet without shrugging forward, because you've got nice mobility, fine, and then begin to start pulling yourself forward. But your back is not doing this. Okay, I need you to maintain that extended position through the spine as you pull yourself forward. If your knees bend a little, that's okay as well. Make sure your spine is in this extended position as you draw your abs and create that lift. We're trying to create lift and then forward, but the forward is from the hip. The forward is not from your lumbar. Hinge from here. If you have that range of motion, fine, go for it. Okay, but don't flex to the spine. And again, you can grab the feet. Heck, you could even do it like this. However you need to accommodate, totally fine. Okay, you got 5 seconds here. Now let's do a rabbit. So flip over. So this is actually really complementary. These are actually agonists and antagonists for the spines in terms of how the muscles are acting on each other. So we just did extension for the last 2 movements. Right now, this is flexion. And I want you to flex your entire spine in that rabbit. Now I'm pretty much in full expression here in rabbit. You can see my entire spine is releasing into that flexion. If you are higher up, you need to do something like this. Totally fine. Just let your shoulders kind of round forward, not up into your ears. Let your shoulders round forward. Try to release through the upper back this way. And you can put your hands to the hamstrings, back of the hips. But the idea is we're trying to flex the spine. Just let the head fall. You don't have to pile drive your neck. Please don't do that. But just let the spine flex over. Again, if you have more range of motion and your knees allow for it, you can start curling and then eventually butt up. Wherever you are, totally fine. Keep hanging out here. I'm going to come out of this, but you got 5 seconds. And then we got those V-sit again. So I'll show you a side profile here on that V-sit. Go ahead, join me. Once again, my feet are down. I'm pulling those abs in to create as much length. I'm back, reclining slightly, but I'm not losing that spine. And then I rotate with that spine. Is it harder to do it this way? Yes, it is. You're eccentrically stretching the front of your spine. So, and then I'm asking you to hold that stretch and then contract it transversely. This is tough stuff. Pull your abs in. And again, if you could do this with your feet up, that's pretty sweet. I could probably last 30 seconds with my feet up, to be honest. I'm still kind of working through some troubles with my hips as well. There's some lingering tightness that I have. But again, still working on goals of improvement. So are you. So wherever you're at, just keep drawing abs in. Make sure that spine is not flexing forward. You have that lift with that rotation. Just 5 more seconds here. Let's do 1 more in each direction. And you got it. I did not cue, by the way, but next time we do V-sit, I will engage your inner thighs, okay? So let's get right into wherever you are. Make sure that back is nice and flat. So you're not this, okay? This looks cool, you know, how far you are, but look how much flexion I have to the spine to get into this position. I'm not interested in this. You need a flat back. So even if, like, you have to bend your knees and you still can't even come forward because your hips are so tight, just hold a flat back Even if you're slightly reclined and your knees are bent, that's okay. It's still a stretch. You doing this is stretching the same muscles. I'm just further in range of motion here. Literally, it's just further range of motion. So you'll get there, is my point. Might look or might feel impossible today. I got 15 seconds, but you will get there. Just continue to work on making sure right now the spine is not flexing. You'll be stretching the wrong muscles. So extend forward, pull your shoulders back as you lean forward. You should almost feel like you're trying to do a back bend as you hinge forward. Maybe that sensation is not possible, but that's essentially the idea here. Just keep holding. And let's do some rabbit. Nice job on that. So wherever you are, I'll show you face on. Your goal would be the forehead to the knee, or the hairline to the knee, and then just letting the spine flex over, releasing the lats and the erectors of the spine. The rhomboids, basically any muscle that attaches into the shoulder, that runs along the back side of your body. Any muscle that attaches towards the hips, that runs along the spine, they're all being stretched as well. So nice exercise here. Pull the abs in, tuck your tail under, really pull the abs in. Why not squeeze your glutes for the last 5 seconds or so, and then pull the abs in. And go ahead, come out of that. Nicely done. Let's go back on our feet. You're going to need your dumbbells for this. We're doing a single leg hinge at the hips with dumbbells at the sides. I'll show you this face on here. First rep, just stay nice and forward. Straighten the back toe or point the back toe up and down, and go ahead, join. So we're going to alternate sides here on this. Try to keep that spine in a nice neutral position as we do it. You can see that I'm taking a couple seconds to lower down. That's totally fine with you as well. Now, I am focusing on, hopefully you are focusing on as well, a nice straight standing leg. You might want a lot of knee bend. I want you to try to get rid of the knee bend. Don't lock the knee, okay? But make sure that the leg is supported at the knee joint while staying as straight as you possibly can keep it. Let's keep hinging here. Make sure your weight is evenly distributed through the foot on this one in particular, but you are pushing down hard on the big toe. A lot of people, when they do single leg hinge exercises, that's what we're doing, single leg hinge exercise. The foot rolls open. It likes to supinate like this. Oftentimes being in calves or even in the hamstrings, they're just too tight. They're not lengthening. So if you actually think about it, these muscles through here, keep hinging by the way, they all have to lengthen. These all have to release to just keep the foot flat. And that's my point. That's why I always like, keep your feet forward, because how your feet make contact with that floor affects literally everything up that chain. Keep your dumbbells in hands. We got a sumo squat, so real broad at the shoulders and sit back. Now really focus on staying nice and upright as we sink into the hips. Because your legs are so wide, I do want you to really draw the abs in and feel the stretch through the inner thigh. No, you are going to feel perhaps some of that stretch here, but just make sure that that stretch through the front of the body is not pulling your spine forward. Okay, so neutral position, neutral spine as you sink into that squat. I'm going to join you here. You can just see the side profile, just staying nice and upright. We'll do a full minute. You have a little more than 30 seconds. Just keep squatting now, just nice and upright. Let's go straight from the front, pushing knees out, not falling forward. Keep your arms up. Don't let your arms come forward as well. It's a little thing, but this engages the upper back better than this. And I want you to engage your upper back better than this. So get your arms back. Anyway, keep squatting here. Pull the abs in. Squeeze your glutes when you get to the bottom of that movement. Really pull the abs in. You should feel as skinny as you absolutely can at the bottom, because you're drawing your abs in, because you're squeezing your glutes. Like everything is like compacting into your bones. And then use that tension to lift yourself up. That is actually another way to think about it. It's like you're pulling your muscles into your bones to create that tension so you can lift. Lift with good form. Stay tight, stay strong. Keep going here. We just got 10 seconds. And then we got a corpse pose. I think that'll be nice. We're going to hold an active corpse pose. Go ahead, set your dumbbells down real quick. On our back here, just neutral position, like I was saying with the feet, with the legs. Tuck your hips under. Try to get the low back as flat to the floor as possible. Take your hands, reach them towards that wall. Squeeze your shoulders back, crown of the head towards the ceiling. And just however much tension you have to generate, keep your hands, arms right at your sides, your shoulders back and down, legs from flopping open. Do what is necessary to hold neutral position Standing neutral position. Do what is necessary. Draw your abs in. Keep that back nice and flat. Make sure that head's not coming up because you're pulling your arms down. Again, this is a common effect as you draw your fingers, hands this way to stretch the neck. The chin comes up. Don't do that. Anchor your head. Anchor it. And then reach your arms to get the release. You can feel the difference when you tune into that. I know you can. Pull the abs in. Tuck the hips under. Reach to the heels hard. Really hard. You got just 10 seconds here. We're almost finished with this. And let's flip over onto our stomachs. No dumbbells. We got a prone full body extension. What would an exercise, or what would a workout be without an extension series? Be incomplete, I'd say. So here we go. Let's complete the workout. Arms, legs, up and down. Go ahead, join if you haven't already. Focus on squeezing your shoulder blades as you lift. Focus on squeezing your legs together as you lift. If you can, it's tough to do, it's tricky. It took me a long time to figure even how to do this. As you lift your legs, squeeze your thighs together and squeeze your glutes at the same time. It probably took me 6 months to a year, even just like get that. How do you squeeze the glutes and the inner thighs at the same time? It's like impossible when you're prone, but it is possible. You just have to continue to try to engage. And eventually your brain's like, oh, there's the muscle. So just squeeze the inner thigh, squeeze the glute as you lift. You got 25 seconds here. As high as you can. Because we aren't doing heavy weight loads, just in general, the weight loads, these bodyweight exercises, these light dumbbells, overload is difficult to achieve in terms of intense weight overload. But lucky for us, we get spine extension exercises. And these exercises, as irritating as they are, go ahead, come out of that. In a lot of ways, we've got a child's pose. In a lot of ways, those extension exercises, what you just did, act as a kind of an offset to heavy overloads with heavy dumbbells, barbells, etc., because of how much muscular tension actually requires, how much force, rate of force it requires for you to actually lift off the floor. It's really, really, really high. I'm not saying it's equivalent to lifting 100 pounds over your head, but it's really, really, really high. It's really hard. So that's my point. That's why, when we're doing these in-home exercises or even on your own, again, you're doing child's pose right now. Just let me talk. Even on your own, whether you're doing these exercises with me or not, just know that those extension exercises that we were just doing, as hard as they are, I think they are genuinely critical for maintaining strength of the spine. And they act as a really nice substitute to doing heavy weight loaded exercises, because there's a lot of benefit to that. Keep doing your child's pose. But again, if you don't have access to the weights and you're limited on weight load, do extension exercises because there's such a good strength effect for the spine. You got just 10 seconds here. And then enough of my diatribe. And that's good. Let's go come out of that. We're going to be on our feet again. Single leg hinge. Grab your dumbbells. Alternate your sides. So legs nice and straight here. Point the back toe. Try not to bend the knee. I'm a little wobbly. Again, nice and straight. Neutral hips. So again, as you hinge forward here, I'll show you from the side. It's real important that you rotate this back or the floating leg hip kind of down. It's going to naturally want to open. If it opens, that's going to disengage the upper inner thigh. So we want to get those muscles strengthened as much as the hamstrings, as much as the glutes. So to ensure that that happens, your hips have to stay square. It's actually very similar to when your knee was up, when we were doing that standing exercise with your knee up. Again, when you engage those inner thighs, even though one leg is back, they will help to pull the hips in a more neutral position, like so. And that's what we're after. Make sure your back's sitting nice and flat here too. We're not rounding through the spine. Point the back toe. Squeeze the inner thighs. Your standing leg knee is as straight as possible. As straight as possible. It's not locked. It's not perfectly straight. It's not all the way back, but it's as straight as possible. Point the back toe. Once you feel strong, let's do one more. I'm going to face forward. Last one here. We'll do those sumo squats. All right, real good. Sumo squats. Hands up at the shoulders. Stay facing forward, or nice and upright. Chest facing forward, I should say. Arms nice and broad. So I want you to pull your arms back just a little bit here. Arms are probably falling forward. Once again, draw them back just a little more. Just a little more. Just pull them back. Now, with your arms back, what's your head doing? Don't let that head come forward. But yeah, still pull your arms back. Pull your arms back. Pull your head back. Who would have thought a squat could be so hard on the upper body? but it can be. And again, that's the kinetic chain. Pull your arms back, pull your head back, and then sit back. You're not squatting forward. You're squatting back. And hopefully you're still holding on to those 3s, 5s, whatever, what have you, in your hands. Just do your best with it. Get 15 seconds here. Remember, you're drawing your abs in. There's fingers at the bottom. I want you to pull your abs in, squeeze your glutes, and then up. Strengthen those glutes. Squeeze them harder than what is necessary to come out of the squat. Try it. Right here, last one. Squeeze the glutes harder than necessary, and up. Good. Corpse pose. Set your dumbbells down. Like last time, active. So however much muscular tension you need, the goal is to have as little muscular tension, but however much muscular tension you need today to hold here, do that. But as you do this, I'm not saying you need to do this every day, but we do this fairly regularly, or I do this fairly regularly with clients. As you do this, just maybe take note of how much effort does it require to hold a more neutral or a flatter position to the floor. And hopefully that dissipates the amount of tension required to just hold you in a resting, or what should be a resting position. So anyway, here we are. Hold it out. We're going to go 15 more seconds. And then we'll do those prone extensions. Because like I was saying before, it's just an awesome opportunity to strengthen the spine. And without doing like heavy weight loads, weight bearing exercises, do prone extension exercises. They're a wonderful substitute. So with that, let's go ahead and do it. I'll show you this face on. So arms out wide. arms right to the sides. When you lift up, squeeze the inner thighs, squeeze the glutes, lift the arms. We're trying to lift the arms as high as you can. We're not holding, you're up and down, I'm just holding. So when you lift the arms, lift them and squeeze the shoulders on the lift. You'll notice as I squeeze the shoulders here, actually helps to get up higher. And that's why I'm giving you that cue. Likewise, just keep lifting the arm. Now, you're really focusing on upper thoracic mobility with this, not so much the lumbar. The lumbar is naturally going to fire. Protect the lumbar because you're squeezing the glutes and you're bracing the abs. By the way, you don't have to pull your abs in on this one. You're just going to brace them. As you lift up, squeeze the inner thigh, squeeze the glutes. And that'll give you stability for the low back. You just squeeze the inner thigh, try to squeeze the glutes. Even if it doesn't feel like you can engage those muscles like I was saying, doesn't matter. Just still try to get the legs together. Keep the legs together. You keeping the legs together will fire the muscles I'm telling you to fire. Keep the legs together, keep the feet together. And try to just squeeze the butt as you lift. Do your best here. You get 10 seconds. And then we got a child's pose. One more. Let's do one more. Nice and high. Squeeze the shoulders. Lift the legs. Up. It's good. Child's pose. Release that back. Child's pose is a really nice complement to what you were just doing with extension. So as you sink back, you should almost feel immediate release through the back of the hips, and then working up through the sides of the spine into the back of the arms. My knees are separated. My feet are separated. They're a little wider. I'm not wide with my knees. I'm just neutral position. So think knees about hip width. Tilt your hips, by the way. So we're not talking right now. I want you to tilt. Tilt. So tilt. Tilt, tilt, and then bring your arms forward. Your knees don't like you on this one, that's okay. You can still just focus on pushing the hips back and tilting, but you can be a little higher up. You're still gonna get an effect through here. It's perfectly fine. You just hang out, pull the abs way in. Just draw the abs way in. By the way, you're keeping your shoulders down right now. I don't want you to shrug your shoulders up. So even though your arms are coming forward, still keep some tension through the shoulder blades. Squeeze them back, squeeze the shoulders back. So when you actually squeeze the shoulder blades, you engage the scapula, you get a nice release of the teres major when you do a child's pose. That's actually why I want you to anchor right now, the scap, because you can feel that. You can feel a little more length through here when you anchor right there. So squeeze, and then push through your palms down. That'll actually further enhance that. Should be feeling pretty flat to the floor here right now. It's a long child's pose. We're gonna hold 15 more seconds. That's okay, I'm giving you a minute and a half. And then we're gonna be in a quadruped position. All right, let's come out of that. Easy transition, alternating opposite arm and leg. As we're in the quadruped, no dumbbell necessary. I'm gonna come a little forward, but again, alternating sides. Go ahead, join me. We do this one on occasion fairly frequently. The goal here is to keep the shoulders and hips in a neutral position as you point the toe. So when you lift this arm up, ideally you should not be able to see your arm anywhere in your field of view because it is lifting out of that field of view while staying as straight as possible. So your elbow's gonna wanna bend a lot on this. People naturally have a lot of tension through the upper back. just due to how much we sit forward rounded, just in life. So we want to really focus on the opening of this arm to stretch, but also strengthen that upper spine to enhance posture. The lift here, as hard as this is, this lift right here, this like 10% more that I want you to do is the difference between like shoulders and shoulders. Well, it might be a little exaggerated, but given time, yeah, it'll amount to the difference between shoulders and shoulders. So get your arm up. I know it's hard. Pull it up without rotating. It's really important. So again, as you lift, you get 10 seconds. As you lift, you're not rotating, just neutral position, get the arm open. We're doing the same thing on our back. So this is even a little more gentle right here. Opposite arm and leg. So as your left leg extends, your right arm will go back. I have confidence in you that you can coordinate. So make it happen. Pull the abs in. Now you'll notice as your arm goes back here, try not to bend the elbow. And again, present the arm straight along the side of the face. So you almost feel the bicep touching the ear. And try to keep your shins parallel to the floor, both of them. So this is the non-extended leg. A lot of people like to drop the shin. Don't do that. Keep the shin up so you engage the quad muscle. Okay? I think I'm... Pull the abs in. And again, like I've said in other traction exercises like this, tune into how your spine is positioned here, even at the shoulders and arms, because we're going to go right back to the quadruped, which we were just doing. And I want your shoulders, spine, hips to look as they are right now, but in reverse. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and flip in reverse. But like I was saying, same spine position, same arm position, same leg position. Pull the abs way in. And again, you are pointing the toe on this. I want you to really reach that leg. Likewise, reach the arm. That's fine. And you just draw your abs in. Think of your abdominal, your middle here, almost as like connecting between the hips and the shoulders. That's good. You make sure that knee is staying straight too, so you can pull up on the kneecap. Basically, the extended leg, you want to have as much tension as possible. So you should feel your glute, your hamstrings, your quadriceps, your calves, and your ankle and feet muscles all firing, all engaged. They're as tight as possible. You would say, or I would say the same thing with the arms, the back, the shoulders, the biceps, the triceps, the forearms, and the hands. You feel tension everywhere, but it's lengthened tension. It's not like shortened tension, but it's lengthened tension. And oftentimes lengthened tension, I would describe as, yeah, it's a little more irritating. It's harder. It's just because it's harder to contract the muscle when it's stretching than it is to contract the muscle when it is shortening. And that's what we're doing right now. We're contracting muscles as they lengthen. Let's go ahead and flip onto our back. Just one more here. We're going to have a quick drink of water after this. We're alternating sides. Feel your spine to the floor. Feel your spine to the floor. Tuck the chin just a little bit. Let's get that neck a little flatter. Keep pulling the abs way in. Try not to bend the elbows here. Again, a little more gentle of an exercise. That's fine. Not every exercise you do needs to be a 10 out of 10 on difficulty. You can undulate intensity. I think that's totally fine. Some exercises that are not too easy, but a little on the easier side, say maybe this, really allow you to kind of sense what is happening because you're not overwhelmed by intensity. Like the extension exercises, like an airplane. It's so intense that it's kind of hard to feel anything because it's just the intensity overwhelms. So take advantage of these little slightly easier exercises to say, hey, like are my legs neutral? What does it feel like to engage the inner thigh? Or draw the abs and make sure the lumbar spine, is really flush to the floor, et cetera, et cetera. Let's do a couple more here. One more. How about a quick drink of water? And then we're going to grab some dumbbells for a standing overhead press. We do like shoulder presses. I like shoulder presses a lot, so we'll talk about those. But let's grab our dumbbells. Stand nice and tall here for me. Feet hip width apart. No wider is fine. Toes facing forward. Again, hands, dumbbells, wrist neutral. Keep the forearms vertical with the floor as we press up. The reason I like shoulder pressing so much is that it's called a shoulder press, but in a lot of ways it could be like a thoracic press. It's because when you do a shoulder press correctly, what you're really trying to do is improve your thoracic extension, the mobility of that upper thoracic spine. Why? Because if your spine doesn't extend, your arms aren't going up straight. There's no way for your arms to actually come up overhead if your spine cannot extend. So while we're doing a shoulder press, essentially what you're trying to teach your brain how to do is to thoracic extend so that the arm can present up totally safe without impingement. You're much more likely to impinge the AC joint if your spine is in a forward flexion movement as you're going through a shoulder press. Intuitively, you know this doesn't look good, okay? Because I'm flexing forward, rounding, pinching my shoulders to do this. I wouldn't want to do too many. But if my shoulders sit back because I've got that thoracic extension, the arm can come straightly up. And it looks intuitively right. It looks like, oh yeah, he's moving his arms right. And I am, and so are you. So draw your shoulders back and down, make sure the head's nice and tall, pull the abs in, squeeze the glutes. While we're doing a shoulder press and you feel your shoulders, you feel your biceps, I acknowledge all that. It's as much about thoracic extension as it is literally anything else. So when we do these shoulder presses, really think about that. Upper back. Do you feel your upper back? I want you to feel your upper back. It's really important. Go ahead and set your dumbbells down and do an eagle. So bring your arms up overhead. Your right's going to come under your left. The left is going to be the stretched arms. So we're just doing eagle. We're not going to bother with the legs here. Maybe someday I'll cue the legs, but we'll break it down just arms at a time. It's a little simpler. So your left arm is the top arm. By the way, you're in that position. If you need to bear hug yourself, this works as well. So this is a full wrap of the eagle where you can see here, top arm, left arm. Both arms are being stretched, but left arm, top arm is more stretched. So as you draw your shoulders down, feel the back of the left shoulder here as you hug and hold. I believe we did an eagle last week. I wanted to do the eagle again, but go ahead and let go of that. Let's do the other side. So now the right arm will be on top, right arm being the primarily stretched arm. Try to keep your shoulders as square as possible. So if you see this, right, probably too far. So if your shoulder looks like this on your right side, then you might not have a mirror. The double bind, it's too much. The shoulder is not releasing. You're actually compressing the shoulder joint. Doing something like this on a shoulder press. Your shoulders need to be back and down. Even though we're doing eagle, you want to actually be like open, okay? I know that sounds crazy, okay? You need to stay extended, lifted through your thoracic spine, and then draw your shoulders down. Pull your abs in. Might feel a little more restrictive this way, but it is correct. And then go ahead and release the arms. We do a half moon. We're going to do side to side here. So interlock your hands, and then just back and forth. We're not going to hold the position. That can get pretty gnarly. People don't like holding half moon. I know, it's hard. Just keep shifting side to side here right now. Do a favor for me though. Don't let your arms do that. And don't let your arms come forward. I'm really emphasizing the thoracic spine today. Talked a lot about that. And so when you keep your arms here, even if your range is shallow, okay, like that's fine. As long as you keep your hands here, you're more likely to release that upper thoracic spine, improving the posture muscles, improving whatever tension you might feel through your head, neck, and shoulders. That'll all dissipate as you just continue to keep your arms right along the sides. Now, again, you are pushing your hips into the opposite direction in which you're pulling your arms. We're going to go 15 more seconds here. So keep squeezing the arms together. But again, push the hips in the opposite direction. And then when you push the hips in the opposite direction, I want you to pull the arms back just a little bit. So you're going to go to the side, you push your hips to the right, pull the arms to the left, pull the arms back. And then the other side. Let's do one more here real quick. You got it. Grab your dumbbells again. And then shoulder press. Stand nice and tall here. Just a little shoulder series. But a thoracic extension series. So again, really focusing in on the upper spine. We just happen to be doing these 3 exercises to achieve those goals. So flare the arms nice and wide. Keep the forearms vertical with the floor. Wrists nice and straight. You know these cues. Shoulders are down. Head, neck nice and long. If you had a mirror, you would see a nice, long, elegant neck. Not doing this is what I'm saying. So again, shoulders down, head, neck, nice and long. Pull the abs in. Your glutes are on because you're trying to anchor your hips. So you really get that stretch into the thoracic spine. If you're loosey-goosey through your low body, you're more likely to do that. This right here gets rid of the muscle activation that we're trying to engage with the shoulder press. So again, neutral position. Squeeze your thighs, squeeze your glutes, pull your abs, and you anchor that tension. And then you move up the kinetic chain with the shoulder press. Feel the upper back. Really feel the upper back. Let's do one more here. Go set the dumbbells down. Eagle. We're going to do arms up overhead, right underneath the left. So wherever you are, again, if you were a bear hug, that's fine. And I can do a full wrap because I can keep my shoulders pretty much square. Still stay nice and upright. In a full wrap, I'm not doing this. Okay? Again, you're still trying to actually extend that thoracic spine. Even though my shoulders are coming forward, the extenders of the spine are not flexing forward. It might get a little complicated. Just try to stay nice and tall as the shoulders come forward. Okay, so it's thoracic extension, but you are getting a release through the rotator cuff. We're not doing thoracic flexion. Okay, and then pull the arms down, draw the abs in, squeeze your glutes, go to the other side. So right now, we'll be on top, left underneath the right, and then pull the abs in, stand tall. So you're not here standing, even though you're pulling your arms down, don't let this happen. Pull your arms down, but stand tall. Again, thoracic extension, and then draw your shoulders down. That will release the back of the shoulder and those upper rotator cuff muscles, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, et cetera, get a lot of them, a lot of fancy names. Anyway, pull your abs in, squeeze your glutes, just hang out here. You got about 10 more seconds. Go ahead, let that go. Okay, we're gonna do more hinging at the hips. No weight this time. We're gonna be nice and light on our left foot the entire time, and just the left leg is hinging up and down. Point that toe. And I know we already did hinging here. We did have weights prior, but I just wanna focus isolating in on one side at a time. So we're not alternating here. Point the back toe. So because we're not alternating, you're gonna have a little more time under tension, a little more fatigue. A little more fatigue late in the hour means you're more likely to deviate on good form. So this is a challenging exercise late in the hour, and I'm doing that intentionally. I need you to really tune into your form. So with that fatigue setting in, are you deviating? You likely want to. So try to resist that. You're still pointing that back toe, squeezing those upper inner thighs together, pull the abs in, neutral hips. I want you to push down hard on that big toe. Really, really, really hard. Feel your hamstring muscle stretch. But then at the same time, feel the upper inner thigh muscles engage. We're gonna switch this to the other side here in just 10 seconds. Again, hands on the hips is fine. Again, or at the sides, wherever feels comfortable for you right now is cool with me. We're not doing really anything with the upper body. Let's go and switch sides here. Nice job on that. We're gonna get right into it. Keep that standing knee nice and straight as we hinge here. Again, if you want your hands on your hips, that makes you feel like you've got a little better balance or a little better neutral position. Heck, even just putting the hand on the hip can give your brain a little feedback in terms of where you are in space. It's called proprioception. Part of what form, I'm constantly hammering you and telling you to correct your form. What I'm basically asking you to get better at is proprioception, body awareness. That's really what all this cueing is. It's just tuning in so you are more masterful over the way you move, more in control of your actual body. I don't know, sounds to me like a noble pursuit, be master of yourself, I guess. So we'll continue to work on that stuff, trying to improve the function of where our bodies move and how you control that movement. A couple more here. Keep pulling the abs in, neutral hips. Nice, straight leg. You can try not to bend the knee. This one should be burning quite a bit here. We got time for 2 more. We got 10 more seconds. Okay, last one here. My hamstrings are talking to me. I hope yours are too. Okay, cool. Supine, butterfly, shoulder flexion. Relax. Seriously, let it go. So butterfly your legs on your back. Make sure your lumbar spine is nice and flat. So you might want to tuck the hips under just a little bit. And then again, just let the knees naturally flop open. Your feet are together here. You're trying to bring your feet as close in as possible. And then just let your arms as straight as you can. Keep your shoulders back and down. I don't want you shrugging your shoulders on this one. So again, get the shoulders kind of like the child's pose we were doing. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and then focus more on the release through here. Tuck the chin slightly. Now with your shoulder blades squeezed together and your legs wide open like this, likely you don't feel your lumbar spine on the floor. And that's okay. That's okay. I do want you to feel your lumbar spine on the floor eventually. But if not today, that's okay. So what I want you to do for making an adjustment, if you don't feel your lumbar spine, squeeze your glutes. Even though we're holding this position, I want you to squeeze your glutes and really pull your abs in. Now just hold that. And you'll actually notice over the next 20 or 30 seconds or so, your low back will actually start to settle. So pull the abs in and squeeze the glutes. And this alone will actually tune you into the relationships of how your muscles engage. When you engage your glutes, when you pull your abs in, you stretch your lumbar spine. How do you know that? Because you can now feel your spine slowly starting to fall to the floor. As you hold your glutes, as you hold your abs in, you lengthen that lumbar spine. So again, tuning into your body, all good stuff. Let's go ahead and come out of that. Let's do one more round here in the hinging. I do want to do one last round, so let's do this. Nice and straight on the leg. We'll get through this together. Point the back toe. Standing nice and tall. That's good. Again, at the bottom of the movement here, I still do want you to feel strong. Okay. Oftentimes, people describe feeling kind of precarious, just feeling kind of out of control almost. You want to feel strong. So again, if you need to shallow up your range of motion to something even like this, just so you can feel more tight, that's fine. Okay? I do want you to feel tight when you get to that end point. So wherever that might be. Got about 25 more seconds here. Put your hands on your hips if you will. Really reach through that back foot. As you reach to the back foot, then point the front toe down. You'll notice when you push the toe down, your calf muscle lights up just a little bit. That's good. That's an eccentric stretch happening. So why not push down on that big toe? It'll also push the knee back slightly a little more. Let's do the other side. That's good. Pull the abs way in. Way in. Neutral hips. Just control it. Focus right now. Giving you a lot. I talked a lot today, and I talk a lot, I guess, every workout. But I've given you a lot of feedback and cues right now, and I just want you focusing, quite literally, just focus. Do this with as much intent and as good a form as you possibly can muster here for the last 20 seconds. Get to that endpoint position and tighten up. Tighten up as best you can while staying in that neutral form. I know it's a little uncomfortable. I'm getting tired too. Let's do one more here. Focus. Don't lose it. Focus. Focus. Hold. Hold it. Hold your last one. Focus. Go let that go. Nice job. All right, butterfly. Last minute here. We're going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it too. So get that low back nice and flat. Like I was saying, if you don't feel your low back nice and flat, why not squeeze the glutes and then pull the abs in? If you do feel your back nice and flat, great. Don't worry about it. Okay? Don't worry about squeezing glutes. Don't worry about drawing abs in. Okay? I was just trying to illustrate a point. There are ways of getting you closer to where we want to be. So do what you need to do here, but we're going to hold for about another 30 seconds or so. It's like tuck at the chin. Squeeze your shoulders back. As you squeeze your shoulder blades back, again, keep the arms as close as you can, right along the sides, kind of like we were doing that half moon with the arms, again, right along the sides of the ears, nice and straight, not like this, or as close to this as you can. You get my idea. You get the point. Keep hanging out here. All right. So with that, folks, we will call that a day. Actually, I really enjoyed today's workout. Hopefully you did too. So I thought it was good. I plan on doing something pretty similar this weekend on Saturday with a couple folks. Really looking forward to that. Actually, it'll be a nice change of pace. Plan on continuing to probably do these once a week and transition to try to figure out some park thing. At least once a week for, I think, in the next couple weeks. And then just kind of go from there. Because I do want to transition out of this at some point and try to get more interactive. So thanks again for joining me, and hope to see a couple of you on Saturday. Bye.